Let's talk about the Michigan Wolverines defense heading into 2024, a unit that lost a lot of guys from a year ago, but yet returns some of the biggest draft prospects for the 2025 NFL draft. Now, on the defensive front, they lost three seniors, Braden McGregor and Jalen Harrell coming off of the edge, Chris Jenkins at defensive tackle. However, they were able to bring back, and not like they had a choice because they were only sophomores, Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant at defensive tackle. Derek Moore heading into his junior year coming off the edge, and Josiah Stewart, the Coastal Carolina transfer, back at Michigan for another year. This starting four could be the best in the country. I think, pretty much everybody's come to the consensus that Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant are the best defensive tackle duo, but I'm very excited to see Derek Moore and Josiah Stewart coming into another year bigger and stronger. I mean, we all got to keep in mind that Alabama game, that last play, those were the four on the field, and Josiah Stewart was the one that blew up J.C. Latham and threw him into Jalen Milroe, the Titans' 8th overall draft pick. So, very good starting four. I know we just got news that Rayshon Benny has fully recovered from his injury that he suffered last year at the end of the season, and he should be good to go by game one. So you have a solid rotation of three defensive tackles. Defensive end, or I guess edge, it's a little bit of a question mark of who's going to be the backups. I know a lot of people are high on TJ Guy. He had a good spring game and has continued to improve. We've heard some people say that Cameron Brandt could potentially be that edge rusher number 4. It looked like his freshman year, like they wanted to put him at defensive tackle, and he got up to about 285. Now he's slimmed down to about 265, and a lot more people are talking about him coming off the edge. 6'4", true sophomore. So if he's ready for it, he could be that fourth guy, but definitely going to need a rotation of guys there because Stewart and Moore won't be able to play every snap, obviously. Heading back to linebacker, probably one of the best linebacker tandems in the country. Two transfers, two guys that were at other Big Ten schools the last couple of years. Ernest Hausman, second year at Michigan, listed at 6'2", 235, a tackling machine. When Nebraska came to Michigan, his freshman year, I think he had like 14 total tackles. Very excited to see him play another year. We saw him in the rotation a lot, but Michael Barrett and Junior Colson were obviously the starters. So expect a big, big year from Ernest Hausman. And then Jayshawn Barham coming over from Maryland, where he started since he was a true freshman, heading into his junior year, 6'3", nearly 250 pounds, a physical run-stopping linebacker, very aggressive, a guy that's not going to let a running back or quarterback fall forward for a couple extra yards. He's going to stand you up and drive you back. Having those two in the middle is going to be huge for the Wolverines. And then the depth, it's being said that Jimmy Rolder has improved a little bit more over the spring, but hasn't really turned heads that much. He's now 6'2", 240. He's put on some more weight. He's gotten a little bit bigger. But we have heard a lot about the true freshman Cole Sullivan, 3-star recruit out of Pennsylvania, 6'3", got up to 225 pounds. Apparently he's growing even taller and taller by the day. At some point in his career at Michigan, he could be near 6'5", but it'll be interesting to see who that linebacker 3 is when, Barham or Hausman need a rest, or, they start to rotate guys in later parts of a game that is pretty much wrapped up. So definitely have your linebacker 1 and 2, but the depth might be a little bit of a concern if one of those guys gets banged up, and we might see a drop in play. But moving on to the secondary, Keon Sabb for Alabama. Rod Moore got hurt. Josh Wallace is gone. Mike Sainristil is gone. Safety, you have Makari Page returning for a 5th year. Huge safety, 6'4", about 210. He started about the end of his junior year, and then he took over for R.J. Moten, and then all of last year. He'll definitely be a leader in the back end. We've heard a lot of talk about Ezekiel Berry heading into his junior year, a former 4-star from De La Salle out in California. 5'11", about $195. We could also see him playing in that nickel spot that Mike Sainristil was playing in. Daxton Hill was playing in before that. Couple of transfers that could get some playing time. I think Wesley Walker's definitely going to get a lot of snaps. We could even see him starting opposite of Makari Page at safety. I believe he's a sixth-year guy, played at Louisville and a couple other stops. Jaden Mangum transferring over from Michigan State. Guy that's got some size, 6'2", about $190. And then going back to that nickel spot, Jaden McBurrows, someone that we've heard a lot about. I think he's going into his senior year, about 5'10", $195, very quick, can keep up with fast receivers in the slot, so could see him on the field a lot. Obviously, corner, you have Will Johnson, and cornerback 2, I don't think we need to really talk about Will Johnson too much. Cornerback 2 is apparently going to be Jair Hill, but you should be expecting to see a lot of Amir Hall, the guy that transferred over from Albany and was an FCS All-American. Overall, this defense, I feel like the starters are going to be very good. Some of the concern could come from depth, where if you're in a tight game and the starters need to get some rest, is there going to be a big drop-off in play, or if injuries become a problem. But as far as a starting defense goes, one of the best units, definitely on paper, so should be a really good unit, should be one of the better units in the country, and if Michigan's going to make another run at this thing this year, they will definitely be the reason why.